Welcome, everyone. Before we start, this is our last session for today. We do appreciate if you fill your evaluation form. It's going to be in a chat box, so please fill it in order to obtain the certifications. And for the questions, as we did in the previous sessions, please fill it, put it in the chat box. For you that don't know me, I'm Ihona Luka. I'm a digital transformation consultant serving as executive director of BCC, board member at ICMCI, and chair at the marketing committee to ICMCI. I'm an advocate for business ethics, women economic empowerment in tech and well-being, and at the same time being responsible for linking management consulting companies with the local and international institutions. At the same time, making sure that ethics and social responsibility remain the main priority. Today is celebrated globally, the World Standards Day. We as BCC, IMC Kosovo has been accredited from ICMCI last year with the ISO 17024 in order to obtain world-class digital transformation certification. Within 1 year, we have certified up to 36 digital consultants, which has this certification has been put us in a well position in the market. And meantime, we have achieved sustainability. One of those certified digital consultant is our speaker for today, speaking with the topic, the role of consultants in the process of digital transformation. Driton, welcome. Driton Apciu is entrepreneur with a background of electrical engineering. Driton is one of the founding partners and was a CEO of Cactus, group of ICT companies. He is also a co-founding partner of Recura, which is a financial advisory leading serving company here in local level. He is also the co-founder of the ICT Association STIC and was a chairman and a member of the board. He designed and headed the project idea of creating Innovation Hub, which resulted in founding Innovation Center of Kosovo, ICK, where he remains as a board member. His latest project as a co-founder and a partner include 9 institutions who are private sector, taking into consideration his contribution and work. So Driton, I hope I presented you as you deserve, as an expert in here in the area. So Driton, if you could please share with us, we have main takeaways. So please, maybe we can start with digital transformation has multiple definitions, but a common themes, which are technology, business transformation, and customer experience. Driton, the mic is on you, and hope to see a lot of questions, because we're going to ask for a lot of tools and everything from you today.
Thank you very much, Ihona. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this conversation and discussion. I hope with other professionals, your ICMC and BCC members, as well as others who are interested in the theme of the consultancy and digital transformation. It is really an honor and privilege for me to be with you today. So let me start by saying that I'm currently in the middle of 3 different consultancies at 3 corporate players in 3 different industries and sectors in Kosovo. All 3 of them are exporters, manufacturers, service providers. Each of them has more than 100 employees. So the theme and the context is very fresh for me, not only because I have been doing this type of consultancies for some time, or I would say for a long time, and I'm not sure how long it will last, but on the other hand, it's a challenge, and it's always fresh. always new, always something new pops up because technology is changing, business is changing, environment is changing. We are facing unprecedented obstacles, opportunities, risks that we never contemplated could come and we could be facing. And still we are working, striving, trying to do our best and get the best results in whatever we are doing. We all know that, and I will share some visuals just for the sake of making this a bit more interactive, let's say, in that sense that while I'm presenting, we keep on track of what are the important things. And one of the most important things that whenever I meet a client or a partner who is willing or who is trying to meet its organizational goals, increase business profits, revenues, make its business better for owners, executives, managers, employees, partners, and the society in general. I usually pick two main, let's say, themes. And one is that the main idea of providing this kind of consultancy and projects is to help those companies achieve their organizational goals, if they have them, if they know what they are in for, if they have a vision of where they want to go and how they want to go. On the other hand, regardless of the fact if that is true or not, the most important thing in improving actually the customer experience, is making customers part of the organization, not only a client as we used to call them, just per se for the sake of selling them a service or a product, but to be an integral part of the experience of the product development, service development, of that communication, opening the communication channels with them in order to make that experience more vivid, live, real time, and somehow valuable, not only for the customer himself, but also very much for the organization in order to improve whatever is there as an offer. Now, I was listening to previous discussions and panels, and also reading some of the questions in the chat box. And what is interesting is that depending on the now in this case my clients in digital transformation strategy development. I mean, we meet every day all kinds of clients. Those who are very, very early in the process of digitization, as we call it, turning their analog business into digital process of making information available in some sort of a format. Turning whatever paper or information stored in other kind of storage means into something that is available to the others digitally, or as we say, IOs, zeros and ones. And this is usually what I meet at certain industries, and that is that the theme is how I can turn my business into a digital business without knowing that it actually means much more than just scanning the documents and tagging them with certain criteria in order for them to find much more easily that kind of information somewhere by searching. Some of the companies, and I must say maybe the most of the companies that I meet today in the region are in the process of digitalization, which is the act of making that process more automated through use of digital means, and that is turning data into information, trying those variables to interpret in some ways. And it is very much about technology. Most of the companies think that the technology itself will solve the problems that they have, will make their job easier, will make the processes much leaner, faster, more automated, less people relying on people and workforce. And that is true, actually. That is what happens. But most of them lack that final push of understanding that digital transformation is actually integrating all this digitized data and digitalized applications into much more meaningful way of doing business, which is a comprehensive change to the whole company, to the whole business strategy. And while you can have some isolated projects within the digitalization efforts in the company, the digital transformation is, as a goal, will actually create change across all departments. Whenever I have any kind of conversation about ERPs, enterprise resource planning software applications in big corporations, they say, you know what, we want to do just this. And I said, no, sorry. When you implement ERP, you touch base with each and every department in your business. It's not isolated. You cannot do digital transformation in one part and leave the others to use stone and bricks in order to build up something within the business and the industry that they represent. So this is a sort of a roadmap that I usually face while discussing and meeting companies. Now, what I would also want to say is that it is important that companies and consultants, as well as beneficiaries, understand what will happen through the process. What are the elements? What are the themes that we will be dealing with, we will be accessing, we will be working on in the process of digital transformation? And as I said earlier, the number one and the focus is on transforming customer experience. So it's very much about the customer becoming an integral part, as I said, of the process of overall improvement of processes, of procedures, of products, of business, of customers' understanding, but also creating new type of communication channels with the customers for them to be part of the production process, design process, customer improvement of customer service process, loyalty, etc., etc. The second part or building block is transforming operational processes within the company. So it's very much about the workforce, about skills, about human factor, about enablement of our or their employees in that sense. So it is very much about centralizing data points, information, working closely with HR, separating today, for instance, separating work process from the location of the work. And this is why digital transformation is very much not only popular, but actually needed and required today due to COVID and how COVID has changed our worlds and the world of work. And the third building block is about transforming business models. So trying to, while implementing the strategy, while envisioning a new world, new product, new service, trying to find a way to find new business models. And usually in the past 12 to 24 months, what I've seen with clients is the first question is, can we do e-commerce? It's usually what happens is, regardless of the industry, regardless of what they sell, can I do this? And I say, yeah. I mean, you sell gas at gas stations. You most probably can do e-commerce, but you cannot fill the tank. So let's try to and find something else which is related to transforming your business model. But sorry, we cannot digitally modify everything. We cannot create completely new setups out of the traditional business models. But in most of the industry, we can bring on innovation. We can change the way we do business. We can attract and work with clients that most probably will be never worked with, or were not there at that point of time. So there are lots of opportunities in transforming business model, and this is the hardest part for us as consultants to, as I say, be a smart guy on behalf of the client and tell them that they could be doing this as well. Some of the clients are ready to accept, ready to discuss, ready to implement as well. But some of the clients really take it with a great deal of reserve and try not to enter into these new areas with a consultant, but rather do it on their own, and if needed, ask for additional advisory in order to, let's say, start new ventures or work on new business models.
Thank you, Dritan. As you said, digital transformation, as any other transformation, has challenges and they need to be sincerely addressed. Can you please elaborate what are the challenges of digital transformations consultancy projects face?
But there are a lot, and I think it very much depends from the sector. It very much depends from the maturity of the company, meaning how long they have been in the industry, what is the corporate governance implemented, at what levels, in what form, how mature is that corporate governance, how is the structure set. One of the biggest players in the retail market in the region, and when I say region, 5 countries in total, I think they are most probably one of the biggest, and multiple industries. So retail, manufacturing, real estate, lately also going into ICT and telecommunication industry. Last year in June, posted scope of work request for applications for digital transformation strategy development. I was not surprised, but that was one of the rare cases of someone in the industry requiring that kind of services from regardless local or international consultants. And it is strange, most of the companies in different industries actually do some sort of internal revision, upgrade, update, refresh of their business in terms of applying and working on digitization and digitalization, as well as maybe some pieces of digital transformation. But still, we lack that focus and dedication to working with consultants. And there are many reasons to it. Most of the IT people in some of the companies that I work, for instance, or I'm part of, most of the engineers are currently involved in some sort of a digital transformation project with their clients, but it's not called as such. So it's either implementation of ERP or implementation of procurement, budgeting, contracting application, or intranet SharePoint app for managing administrative tasks in the company, or implementing firewall and security solutions with threat management and etc., or IT audit. Each of those are part or may make one block of the process, but they are not part of a well-designed digital transformation strategy. So what are the challenges? The first challenge is culture always. So there is a resistance to change because digital transformation will change a lot, absolutely, in the company, in the way it works, in the way the workforce is doing their everyday job. Management, executives, owners, clients, customers. So everybody, everything changes in a way. Some changes are incremental, some are small, some are major and big. And this is most probably the biggest and the most significant obstacle to achieving whatever digital goals are, because as I said, they require cultural and behavioral change within the company. Digital transformation will make and require significant structural and process changes in the company, starting from the very basics of how you input data into a system and how that data is represented. The second thing is what I said earlier, is lack of digital strategy and vision. So, and this is of course understandable. You don't expect companies today to have digital transformation. It is usually only the companies that really have visionary management, those who are really innovative in how they do business or wish to become as such, that have either appointed personnel, people in charge for doing this, or have departments, whole departments in charge of that. And if you lack that, then you lack a defined strategy in terms of what you want to do, where you want to be, how you want to do it, who will be in charge of what, if there are budgets or not. As I said earlier, developing strategy for a number of clients, some of the things that we've been going through in this consultancy projects is either using some Kanban methodology or something similar, and simplifying the blocks of building the digital strategy. And then meeting with the clients, they usually say, well, this was so easy, why we were not doing this earlier? You know, I said, well, nobody was in charge of thinking about that. Usually managers, CEOs, chief operations, HR, they deal with every day. They deal with their strategy, but there is no one who takes a step back and works on the digital transformation strategy or digitalization. And this is one of the issues. The second issue is that it should be organic and something that is required or wanted. So there need to be enough factors and criteria to drive that need for a change. And one of the issues as well is that that vision should be shared with the others, which means that digital transformation requires also some sort of inclusive, being inclusive, bringing employees in the organization to be part of defining and creating a digital strategy. The other thing is budget, and budget is always there. Budget concerns, risks. I mean, depending on the industry, again, there is always a focus. One of the industries I'm working is wood manufacturing and furniture production. Of course, they will be looking into ways of how to find and buy a new 12 laser guided automated CNC cutter, which is the state-of-the-art machine. Yeah, that's great, but that machine should be connected to a design office, should be connected to production office, to sales, marketing, should be connected to R&D, innovation office, doing prototypes. And all this needs to be somehow digitalized. That communication should be there. So when we come to budgets, they usually say, yeah, how much the machine cost? Well, it's 25,000 euros. Yeah, I'll buy that. And how much does the implementation of this connectivity cost and secure layers on top of that? Well, 10,000. Keep that aside. We will do that next year. So these type of projects also have some budgetary concerns, usually. And this is what I try also to break in those silos early in the process. When we do the brainstorming, when we have the brainstorming process, I try to pick up their brain on how much they would be willing to pay for a service. And in most of the cases, what happens is that they get the notion that it actually is not so expensive as they thought it is, because they have no clue how much a service or a product would cost.
Thank you, Dritan.
Yes, and just briefly, what also is a challenge, and it's there, it's a lack of IT infrastructure, digital expertise, a lack of dedicated IT skills to implement and maintain and support some of the services within the organization, and organizational structure. As I said earlier, there will be significant changes in the organizational structure. Some of it needs to be built up. Some of the processes and procedures, if they are not there, need to be created. And most of the existing ones will be efficiently changed and modified.
Many thanks. We have a couple of questions in the chat box, but before we address them, I'm just going to ask, because Dritan is our lecturer in our sessions here at BCC, and what are some of the do's and don'ts of digital transformation consultants? And this was very much appreciated from our older generations, if I may say, because it's related with some of the questions that I'm seeing here in the text box. So if you may share the insight of those, Dritan, what are the do's and don'ts of digital transformation consultants?
So I will try to be as brief as possible and address some of the questions. So there are many do's and don'ts in everyday consultancy, and they are very much similar to the ones in the digital transformation field. First of all, we have to be very enthusiastic about what we are doing. So we need to sort of create a hype in the project, so the clients buy it, not buy it just for the sake of the consultancy itself, but the whole process needs to be accepted, endorsed, and loved in a way. Try to make distinctions, as I said earlier, about being less digital and more transformational. Work in partnership. And I usually say this to clients. We will not change anything that you have been doing so far with your existing partners. Whoever built your website, we will work with them again. We are not changing your providers. We are not working on our own. We are just setting the new tone to whatever we are doing. If you have a social media management company which is currently working on your digital marketing, we will use the same guys, but in a different manner, in a different way. Instead of using only LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, we will go to Yelp and Pinterest, because that is where you should be as well. We need to make them recognize that digital transformation is driven by people, so it's not just technology. The goals need to be communicated very much clearly. One of the things that I usually insist on early on is to create some sort of an innovation committee or office or department, or at least have one person assigned to me. It's very interesting. In most of the cases, in this committee, I have two people, and that is one is, or three. One is head of IT, head of finance and accounting, and head of sales and marketing. So it's usually those three that are part of that innovation. Although, as I said, I insist having someone who is in charge of innovation or digital transformation. We need to, what needs to be done is to create metrics early on in the process, design effectively and present it clearly in a manner that we say, these are the targets that we want to achieve. These are the KPIs we will be measuring throughout the process in order to arrive to this, to the end of the whole thing. And whatever we do at stage A, this is what we will have at the end of the process. But I also love, and that's maybe a startup thinking or an entrepreneurial mindset. I love to do fast, but also fail fast. So if there is something that doesn't work, we try to find a workaround early in the process, learn fast from what was not working, and do it in a different way. And that is the reason why we should also budget like a startup. As I mentioned earlier, that's one of the constraints, which means that if we budget like a startup, it means lean in the beginning, but later on we could also focus very much on spending and investing much more in human resources and people that we could bring on board. Yeah, more or less data is there, so we should be using the data. And one more thing for the do's, there is no perfection. I don't believe in perfection in the first instance. So whatever we try it, trial and error. If it works, well, fine, we move on, make it better. If it doesn't, we try it from zero. I very much love implementing design thinking as a methodology in the whole process. And I kind of also use a 1 hour or 2 hour workshop to introduce it as a methodology so they can use it in their everyday process. The don'ts, well, there are many don'ts as well in this. And as I said, it's not about digitization, and it will not solve the problem. It's not something that will just we implemented and yeah, we've done it. I really try to if there is a vision, utilize that notion. If it's not, or if it's, as I say, partially fake because it's up to a standard, or you know, you have it there just for the sake of having a vision, then I really insist of reframing it just for the sake of the digital transformation project. There is an important impact that transformation will change in the organizational culture, and this is something that consultants have to take into consideration and think every day whether this is, whatever process they design is applicable and is acceptable for the organization, the company, because it might have even, let's say, shocking effects at the end. Break up silos and create shared cultures. So this should not be idealized in one department, or implemented, used, designed, thought of, discussed only when with, as I said, head of finance and accounting and marketing. Everybody should be part of the process. One other thing interesting is that I've seen it. I mean, some of the consultancy projects are copycats, as I call them. So they try to copy something that has been done in another industry, or same industry but different company. Not necessarily, and in most of the cases, this will not work. So this should be taken into account as well. The other thing is not to follow the crowd. What is happening in Silicon Valley or what happens in Middle East, not necessarily and for sure will not work in the local context. So it has to be very much contextualized, localized, customized as per company needs, as per their vision. And yeah, I said this and put it maybe just as a joke. Don't be a hero. So if you face, we have a saying here: if you face a wall, don't break your hand. You know, not necessarily everything can work and should work. So in consultancy, I usually try to find and work on small micro wins, low-hanging fruits, try to deal with them in the beginning and then move forward and end up with some major dinosaur type of transformation.
Many thanks, Dritan. We have a couple of questions, so digital transformation is primary in IT intervention. How can a management consultant with no IT domain knowledge get involved in it?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm not sure that would and should be possible. I'm not saying that that person should be IT per se or an engineer, but I believe that the digital transformation consultant, especially someone who is in charge of developing a strategy, should really know very much about how things work in IT industry, who are the players, what are the existing solutions and products and technologies capable and available. But on the other hand, get to know the industry itself. I mentioned furniture, wood manufacturing. I really had to do some homework, understanding how things work in the industry, what are the pains of the industry in the region, internationally, how the export markets work, what are the trends. I most probably read 3 or 4 reports before I went into the first meeting in order to understand what are the trends in this industry in Europe, in US, in Slovenia, which is some sort of a big brother next to us, and being part of the former country setup, something much more easier to understand and to relate to. So yeah, that is a challenge. I believe that we could have a good, capable, knowledgeable digital transformation with less IT knowledge, but that person or company should have at least one or two backups, advisors in IT joining the team.
Okay, and the second question, it's related with the first one, is from Amana. Although I have limited IT domain knowledge, but being involved to facilitate a change of mindset of a global organization employees who are going through a digital transformation process.
So if I understood this well, Yahona, this is related to the previous question. So what I'm saying is that it's not a no-go. Absolutely not. But I believe that there should be a joint effort and having a team that could work together in order to design, envision the best processes for the client. There could be a case, and this is something also that occasionally happens, and more actually, is that within the client side, within the organization, there is a strong IT team. So collaborating, working closely with them, exploring opportunities with them is a solution to the problem.
Precisely, and I say that those tools will only empower us as the consultants with already made analysis to assist in better implementation and strategic planning of the project as well. The other question, I would say just a comment, Patricia, no one in charge of thinking. I don't completely understand this. So in charge of thinking, Image.
It was, sorry if I'm intervening, it was a sentence that Driton said, and she kind of felt that it meant a lot to her. So that was just a comment.
Oh, it's just a comment. Yeah, I can tell. Okay, thank you, Patricia. The other one is from Amana as well. The CEO of the organization tell all employees that digital transformation is not only an IT matter. People is the most important part of the transformation, as you just mentioned. We completely agree. If you have to add, Driton, something.
No, absolutely. We have to have a buy-in from the top management, from the owners, founders, executive management. Otherwise, the things will not work. And what is good about the process is that if there is, and this is something that anyone can do. Whenever, sorry, I'm faced with CEO or founder or owner saying, you know, we will meet. I say, yeah, we will all meet, which means you will bring your people on the table, because those guys will be in charge and will be actively working in whatever we do, design, envision, and they will be part of that process from the very beginning to the very end, and they will be affected by the process, and whatever we change will actually be their willingness to change and their part of that change.
Thank you. The next one goes to Noni Umahi. Reasons we have CDOs and CZOs is consequences of the companies. The difference of those CDOs and CZOs. Maybe this is just a comment as well, that I missed it during our conversation. Next question is from Christian. Please comment on people thinking organization. Do you find people having enough skills to analyze, interpret, and taking decisions just using data? Are they prepared?
I believe people are not prepared that much unless the organization itself has dedicated to work on the data. What we usually do, and I've seen that in many companies, in many organizations, is that we do that at home as well, is that we get old stuff, we store old stuff, same applies to data. We store all kinds of documents on our PCs, phones, mobile devices, in our companies. We require employees to fill in the performance reports and this and that. At the end of the day, if that data is not properly turned into valuable information for those employees, management executives, owners, external partners and collaborators, then it's actually just a piece of bits and bytes which is residing and keeping our space. Now, what does that mean in relation to people? It means that if that data is created by the people and is required to derive from their work, then they need to understand the value of it. If that process, if that data turned into information makes their lives easier, better, faster, more valuable, wealthier, then they will be not only endorsing and using and contributing, but also they will understand how the things work. I very much believe in the process of training and coaching people, and that is very important part of digital transformation. I most probably have said that somewhere, and learning and growth, regardless of what position someone holds in the organization, from the very lows to the very highs, if we invest, and that is part of digital transformation, invest in people, they will get better, more knowledgeable, committed to what we do, and that data turned into information then will have a much more meaningful impact to the lives, not only of them, but also of the organization itself.
I think that it just answered the question of Robert and Dr. G. The question was, isn't digital transformation more than bits and bytes? I'm thinking of GDPR, business model trains. And as a comment from Dr. G was that IT management consultants leading digital transformation must also have a solid background in business process in order to be successful.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. That is a must. I was lucky enough in my life to work in different industries, creating new companies and ventures. And currently, the two most, let me put it that way, important building blocks of the business that I do are, one is a group of IT companies dealing with system integration, business solutions, software development, and education in IT. And the other one is a consultancy boutique advisory company, Recura. We provide strategic consulting, business planning, investment planning, due diligence, valuations, as well as what we say, a full service from idea to factory. So unless there are both perspectives in place, as I said earlier, it doesn't work. The business part is essential, crucial to it.
Thank you. Another question is from Stefan. I'm interested in your observation that is most likely that a digital modification is more likely to be successful than attempt for wholesale change of an organization. If I have understood this properly, can you comment on what degree of modification might look like? What could be included and excluded?
Oh, there are many, if I understood the question correctly. So a small, minor, or major, doesn't matter, modification to the business in digital terms can make things better for an organization. And I will give you an example, and I hope this example meets what you expect in your question. In one of the retail chains, maybe the largest, actually the largest in the country, with more than 100 locations, not locally only, but also regionally. A couple of years ago, we were discussing about implementing a different, completely revised loyalty program for the customers. And while the previous loyalty program was based on more of a verbal communication between the seller and the customer of, and what is your phone number? My phone number is this. Okay, you have this much of whatever points or credits in your account. Do you want to convert them, etc., etc. And the idea, and this is a couple of years ago, was to change that into a mobile app with an NFC sticker sticked to mobile phone, unless the mobile phone has NFC technology embedded. And whenever a customer enters the retail shop and exits retail shop, if NFC is on the mobile phone, you actually know who is in your shop, knows what that person usually buys, what is his or hers heat map trajectory in the shop. You could customize your offerings just for that customer, for that day, for that particular moment. And there is no need for disclosing any kind of sensitive information such as your ID number or your personal number or your phone number, because the shopper would automatically get all the necessary information and assign the credits. And by the way, also maybe include offers and discounts and remove some value from the actual check. And this is a small change. Some of the processes are changed, not much. It's very limited, but the amount of information that we get out of it, the amount of the valuable information that our sales and marketing can get out of that is enormous for whatever we want to do in the future. Change the location of products in our stores, change the behavior of the customer that enters into store, etc., etc.
Another, just a point is from Flavio. IT is nothing without business perspective.
Agree, absolutely.
And Christian, are CEOs ready to empower employees to take decisions?
Well, I was CEO myself. Delegation is a keyword that all CEOs use and say, I don't want to become a micromanager, but and I want to delegate as much as I can, and I want to empower people. Whenever there is a complaint from one side or the other, I say this. Lewis Hamilton, who is a Formula One driver, has an extremely good pit stop team, which does the work that they are supposed to do. So if one of them fails, he goes home. If the team fails, Lewis Hamilton fails. The whole Formula team fails. So what is important is to work full time with employees, find best people, manage best people, create teams, valuable teams, and teams with and get close to those with whom you can actually deliver and work. And this is what whenever I have the chance with CEOs discuss as well. Why you keep someone that is that you are not willing to assign or delegate the work? If that person is not capable, why not try training, instruct him, coaching, mentor him, take him next to you so he comes to your meetings and work together with you? If that is not the case, then sorry, we have to wait for another generation or another CEO.
Thank you. And we have comments, positive feedback. Thank you, Driton, for your presentation. Amana said, we made Driton share some slides because this is the last session and we wanted just a little bit of visuals because it's been a long day for all of us. So Driton, it's up to you if you could share those 4 or 5 PowerPoint slides with the participants after the presentation. Another positive feedback is from Bessart. Thank you for simplifying the meaning of digital transformation, Driton. Great presentation. Stefan, very helpful answer. Thank you. We don't have any more questions, and if anyone else has to ask questions, we have 2 more minutes. So use the opportunity. And a lot of more feedback, positive feedbacks. So thank you, everyone. And anything else? We have 1 more minute or 50 seconds. Okay. Did we lose Driton? Yes, Driton.
No, I'm here.
No, he's with us. Maybe, Hona, we can ask Dwight as chair of ICMCI to actually close this last session of the conference and say a few words.
And take a picture with all the participants. The last time that I'm talking today. So please put your cameras on, and Dwight, the mic is on you.
Thank you very much. Only thanks. This is our first virtual conference. We wanted to put it in place. It's kind of like dipping our toes in the water because it's not a full conference as we would normally put on live, but we did want to have the experience and share information amongst all of our colleagues around the world. So thank you to all of you. I see many faces that were on most of the sessions. So those who committed fully to participating in the conference. Thank you to all of the speakers who gave us such great content, and thank you to the moderators. I know that's hard work as well, and to Rima and Hosseima for all of the logistical work that you put in place. And Johanna, I should point out the social marketing, great, because that's how most of us found out about this. So only to say that this was a great event. It gives us experience. We're hopeful, very hopeful, that in 2022 we can go back to our live conference. There will soon be bids going out to the institutes asking for people to bid to host, and the board has already decided that it should be a hybrid. So we'll have face-to-face, but give opportunity for people who don't want to travel or who are not able to travel to log in and participate that way. So thank you to all, and thanks in this session to Drayton and Johanna. Thank you.